Welcome back. Today I will be working on a butterfly similar kind of to this one. A lot of my friends asked me how I did it. I didn't use a flip cup on it. I used the clean pour, which is one color at a time, already mixed, prepared with Floetrol. And my canvas is already prepared. I primed it. I did 2 coats of this dark turquoise on it, and it's been drying out for a while, for over 2 days. And I will be adding this gold by CraftSmart, and that's the turquoise peacock color. This is the gold, and I will be using like a turquoise metallic, the one I just showed you. The yellow is by Apple Barrell, and also the red. White is by, in this particular case, is by Artis't Loft. I will be using white by Artis't Loft. The Apple Barrel white, I've had awful experiences with it. It cracks. While it's drying, it cracks. It doesn't bind. It's just terrible. So I know some people, artists, don't like to mix Apple Barrel with other good paints. But in this case, it worked out. I guess it all depends on what temperature is drying, if it's exposed to a fan, how diluted you have it. My paints, I don't like to dilute them. Hardly ever do I add water. In this case, I didn't add water, especially for these base colors for my surface. I didn't add water. It's just 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol. And I find that it works better, especially when I'm working the clean pour, puddle technique, swipe technique, which I will be using today. It's best not to have the paint too fluid, too liquidy, because in that case it's not gonna stay. And these little containers are really handy for precise application. There's even other, like a needle tip, and those are especially good if you're working on small tile or in a really small piece, or for light signature. That works really, really wonderful. So here's the red, already pre-mixed. And I'm playing more with this butterfly. I'm utilizing a slightly different technique that I did with the one I showed you at the beginning of the video. That one I didn't do with this type of bottles. I didn't have these bottles yet. So this time I'm better prepared. The red, I think I did use Flow8. My lubricant is Flow8 by Liquitex. I utilized that. I blended it in with the red color only. Now the metallics that you see me using here, especially CraftSmart, they give you cells. Just on their own, they give you cells. It works wonderful. And it works mostly when when you drag the paint, when you swipe it. That's when you get the cells. The cell action. So it's really important, especially in this dragging swiping technique, to have high contrast colors. Like in this case, the high contrast is the white and the red. And that's when you will see your cells. Otherwise, if I just had white and yellow, the cells wouldn't be that visible. You need contrast. It's very, very important. So this is like my second experiment where I'm more really going heavy and puddling this paint. The turquoise that I use, it's not a high contrast, but it adds to the puddle. And once I blend them, that's when you can see them. The blending is really smooth. Is the palette knife is just floating on this puddle of paint. I like the result I get when I blend red and turquoise. It's a really nice combo. You can see photos of the finished piece on my Instagram account, Felix Art World. I will have a link to it in the description down below. Here I'm debating in which direction, how I'm gonna apply the paint. And somehow my brain, that's how it works with motion. And I have to do the motion first before I actually apply the paint. I'm one of those persons that tacks with her hands. Whenever I'm tacking, my hands have to be moving around. Alright, so just puddling the white for the contrast. Getting ready for the swipe. And also off camera, I added even more contrast to the wings. I added red to have contrast. I added red to the perimeter, the edges of the wings. On the top, I added white, additional white. After it was nice and dry, like I waited a week. I live in the desert, it's really hot over here and dry, so it dries faster. If the paint is not too thick, and a week's gonna be ready to be worked on again. And but if you live someplace where it's really humid, you're gonna need 2 to 3 weeks to make sure you don't ruin your work. Now the beauty of using metallics as my lubricant as well, or Floetrol by Liquitex, is that you don't have to clean it up like you do when you're using coconut milk, that later on you have to apply the cornstarch, let it sit for an hour or so, and then add water, wipe it off. And if you didn't wait long enough for your paint to dry, sometimes the paint comes off. So if you're working with coconut milk or any other hair product, serum, you need to really wait the 3 weeks and then do the cornstarch application to wipe it off. I really don't like dealing with that aftermath, so I rather just use Floetrol, even though it is pricey. But it was especially designed to interact with acrylics and not puddle and not reject. Separate but not rejected. Here I'm using a bamboo stick to guide the paint. Just drag it to have fine lines, which in this case, in the puddle technique, the fine lines are a little hard to do. And my paint has quite some body, it's not too liquidy. I would say not a full body, medium fluid body. And it's actually more looking like a fairy. That's what came through. Artists are vessels of divine information being downloaded to Earth. So what's happening, I had in mind, I wanted to do a butterfly, but then as I started doing the body, it just didn't feel right. And that little voice said, make a woman, like draw a female body. So I did, and came out really nice. I think it's more fitting, more suiting for this type of wings. Anyhow, I love fairies. fairies and glitter, girly things. And I don't think I sped up the video in this section. I had to retouch it. Once it was dry off camera, I have to add all of these lines on the edges. I have to make them more pronounced with straight on red out of the bottle. And you will see at the very end of this video photos of the end product. But I will do a close-up of how it looks while it was wet, and then after it was dry and retouched. I don't think I added possibly a matte finish to it after it was really, really dry. 3 weeks later, I added a matte polyurethane finished. Since the colors are metallic, and I actually added more straight metallic, not diluted, after it dried up. So here are them cells, gorgeous cells, just gorgeous wings overall. I'm loving it. Alright, well, hopefully you liked this video. If you want to see more, subscribe, give it a like, help me get into the flow of YouTube. And any questions, please type them down below. And in the description below, you will see the colors. I will list the colors I use here. Thank you. Ciao. This is all dry. This is how it looks, all dried up. Okay, bye.